Well, welcome everybody today. Tina and I are super excited to give the overview of what Next Level Salon Leadership is and how you can sign up and what we can offer. And, what we really just wanted to start out with is where this all, came from. Tina and I, we realize in the school world that, when our future professionals leave, they're not, yes, technically they're on their journey. However, business wise isn't just something that's there and everybody raises their hand on that first day of orientation. Salon owner, but throughout their schooling they're not really being taught the strategies that they're going to need to really be set up and have that successful business. So Tina and I went on this mission about, what's it been, 5 years or so, maybe a little bit longer. We started planning, like, what's this going to look like. We started launching the ideas and listening to our graduates of the schools, like, what should we do, how should we do it, and that's kind of where we came up with the 5 strategies. We're going to talk about eliminating politics and confusion, how to increase your morale, decrease turnover, increase productivity. And I think that that's so important, and we truly believe that it starts with the 5 strategies, which are: fix your foundation, fix your leadership, fix your communication, fix your attitude, and fix your hiring. And there was an article written in regards to this, because Tina had, the opportunity to share this in Las Vegas at a Paul Mitchell convention. And, she got up there and said, like, this is it. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, this is how we can be successful in that industry. So Tina, you want to talk a little bit about your journey that brought you up to, speaking on stage in front of thousands about running a healthy salon?
Yeah, Sean, you hit the nail on the head when we were mainly looking at our future professionals and our graduates that were opening up their own salons. And they were really frustrated because they really didn't know business, right? Because when we teach them in our schools, we teach them really how to do hair, right? We don't really teach them the business. And it's 2 different hats that you wear. And then we started watching our future professionals come and go in the salon world. They were leaving salons. They were either quitting altogether or going into completely different models. And we thought, you know what, instead of being a part of the problem, let's be a part of the solution. So we created this 6-month course. And Sean's right. Like, it's these 5 areas, if you focus on them, because most consultants, sales consultants, and salon owners, they're all focused on branding and marketing and thinking that it's all these gimmicks that it's going to take to run a business. But what we've realized that it's not all of those areas, that it's really the intangibles, those areas that people are just a little bit nervous about focusing on, that they really need to focus on to run a business. And we've watched different franchises, we've watched different companies throughout the world that are really successful. And Sean and I have studied them. And we figured out that there are specifically 5 strategies that you never graduate from, by the way. We've had many salon owners take this course over and over and over, and they get something new out of it. Our salon leaders, we have 3 salons. We're building our 4th right now. Our salon leaders have gone through it the 2nd time, and they've gotten so much more out of it this time. And I know every single year when they go through this program that they will. But the number 1 challenge is the lack of foundation, the lack of really, coming up with systems to run their business, because people think that leaders are managers, but they're not. We manage systems and we lead people. So this is where this came from. And as Sean said, I had the opportunity to speak at Business Revolution, and then this magazine decided to do an article on me on this entire program that we've been doing. It's Beauty Launchpad. And so it was just such an honor to be able to write, because I think it was one of the first times they heard this information, because again, most salon consultants and companies are focusing on branding and marketing and all the gimmicks that it takes, right, to run a business. So that's where that came from. And then we started our course.
And what it is, we offer 6 months where we're gonna go through each one of these strategies. We're gonna have one-on-ones. And what's really great is that we bring, we only take 5 to 6 salons at a time. So it's real intimate. We have group calls, we have like roundtable sessions where we go around and kind of share what's working in your salon the best, and what maybe do you need help with. We have a Facebook group that we're actively talking about there, like, hey, like, this is what we just saw, What do you think about this? Tina and I are involved in a lot of outside groups, not just, with Next Level, but a lot of other salon industry groups, and they're posing questions on their page, and we're taking them back and saying, like, what are your guys' thoughts on this? So it's really a mastermind across many different pages. So it's not just inside of here, but like Tina was saying, our salon leaders have gone through this course now. They're on their second time, and what's really cool is this morning we were on one of our Next Level calls before this one, and we got the opportunity to ask them, like, what are some things that you've taken away from here, being that you've been through this. This is now your second time, and we do have some new people on there, and some of the things that were on there that was talked about was the importance of foundation, like Tina was just talking about, because you really want to review that early, and you want to make sure that you're, yearly, and make sure that you're constantly improving what's working and what's not working. It's all about, that foundation. Another word, that was brought up that tied into foundation is, we got to create, train, and sustain. And that again goes down to those written systems. What systems are you working on? They love that we work through the strategies. We go through each one, and it's about, we got to review, refine your systems, and, plant that seed now to fix the future of what your business is going to be. And that is what we do at Next Level. We go back to the very beginning, and we talk about, let's plant those seeds, let's water them, add that fertilizer, and let's set you up for success as you move and you decide to, grow or maintain your business. So we're just going to dive in here right now. Once again, there is the 5 strategies of a healthy company, starting with, foundation. So these are some great questions, for you to think about. What are your company's core values, beliefs, and mission? Do you have a mission statement? One of the greatest questions that we always ask on one of our first calls is that if we were to go up, to any of your stylists and say, what's your mission statement? What's your company's core values? Could they recite them? Is that something that they know off the top of their head? And if not, why not? Typically, that's because as the salon owners or the salon leaders, it's our job to cast that vision, cast that mission, repeat it over and over and over. Is it written down somewhere? Is it on a wall? It should be something that is very easily repeated. And again, that goes into, can your team write them? How about your clients? That was something that was brought up on our Next Level call this morning, that one of the greatest things we did is, we asked our clients, what's our culture inside the salon? What does that look like? And when you hear that, does that align with what you want your culture to be? If you wrote down, this is what you think it is, and your client said something different, where's that balance? How are you, going to bring it back? And that's what we spend, that whole first month on foundation. And again, with that group call, you're going to get a packet. You're going to get a lot of thought-provoking questions. You're going to get a lot of interaction, with Tina and I and the team. And then we're also going to have that 1 hour one-on-one where we focus just on what you want to talk about foundations. And what's really great about this is Tina always says, we just are like a firing squad. We launch so much stuff at you, and you pick what works for you. We've had people that have been with us, done this 3 years in a row, and it took us the first 2 years just to move past foundation, because that's what was needed at that point. They take the information from every strategy, but the foundation is what needs to be fixed. And I know, you can see Tina laying that brick. She tells a great story on where this all came from.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to, integrity, like what truly is your values. And it's so fun, John, to draw this out of our salon owners. And I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt when we started our salons that it was going to be about generosity and making an impact. And so we had to lead by example. So Brian and I got the opportunity to go to South Africa and to build a home for a family. And this is us laying down the cornerstone. And I thought this is perfect to really give the story about the cornerstone is your foundation. And so what is your cornerstone? Like what's missing? What systems are missing in your business? What written systems? And first and foremost, really what we decided, Sean, was that culture eats vision for lunch. Like what is your culture in your company? Who do people really say you are? Is it exactly what you want people to say about you? If not, why not? And what can you do about it? How can you shift? How can you reinvent yourself? And we have so much fun helping salon owners reinvent themselves and to watch the light bulb moments for them of saying, we're starting fresh. And it's just been so neat to be able to watch. And one of the areas that we really work on, Sean, is what we call the profit first system. And that's paying yourself first. And we make sure we'll look at the profit and loss statements. We'll look at the income statements. And Sean and I will, go through line item by line item to make sure everyone is following their benchmarks and following a good system. But most importantly, to pay yourself first. Are you paying yourself as the owner? Because if not, that is a foundation breakage, if you will. And so if not, because you'll just be resenting your team, you'll resent your staff, and none of those other 5 strategies will work, Sean, because of the fact that they're not paying themselves first, because they're resenting their team and everyone around them. So that's one of the areas that we really focus on. And as Sean said, this is an area you never graduate from. Even us, we were looking at it and thinking, wow, gossip is happening in our salons. Do we have a written system for gossip? No, we don't. We don't have a written communication plan. This is how we communicate. This is how we do things around here. And just like really creating that system and then training that system, train, and then sustain that system. And so we're in the trenches. That's what I love about this course, Sean, because we're not just salon consultants out there that used to have a successful business. We are actually in the trenches with the salon owners, feeling the pain. We're very empathetic, and we're learning through all of the challenges that, of course, is happening this past year as well, and being able to lead by example and to be able to share our pains and our successes and our failures, which I think is more importantly, like, learn from me, don't do this. And immediately they get these big ahas. So it really has been a lot of fun.
What I love that you just said there is, we talk about our failures, we're in the trenches, and we all know that, leadership is one of those big words right now that everybody's talking about, leadership. What does that look like? And we're the first to admit that we've failed as leaders for a long time. We were not very good at leading people or leading ourselves. We weren't leading anybody. We were very much just not that way. And it showed in our profit and loss statement. It showed in the attitudes in our salon. It showed everywhere. So we spent an entire month talking about, how to fix your leadership. And that really starts with leading yourself. What is your growth plan? We talk a lot about that, because when Tina and I made the shift in our leadership, it started when Tina made the commitment to the John Maxwell team. And she said, wow, this is what it is. I have an awakening. I have to work on myself. And then when I was invited to become a part of the John Maxwell team, it was like, wow, okay, so this is where it's at. We have to work on growing ourselves and raise that lid and rise to that next level. And as we, go through and rise, the team rises with us, because they can never be higher than your leadership lid, is, as we like to say. So what is your leadership lid? We also offer throughout this course a DISC assessment. We believe so much in assessments and getting to know you and how you can lead yourself so that you can lead your team better. So that's where we talk a lot about your growth plan and what your leadership looks like. We also ask some questions like, what challenges are you facing in your business right now? What are those? Let's have that raw conversation. What are those blind spots? What are you not seeing? That's what, Tina and I are here as an outside coach is, hey, like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about your hiring. Do you have an onboarding process? What does that look like? Who's that link that you need to have that tough conversation that maybe, we're not having yet? And why not? Let's go ahead and let's role play through that conversation. So we spend, an entire month talking about how to, fix your leadership and how to work on yourself, how to grow yourself so that you can grow your team.
Yeah, so good, Sean. And, I think one of the biggest challenges that we hear over and over, and this was our challenge too, is the fact of hiring. We felt like we couldn't find the right people on our team. But then we realized, oh my gosh, who we are is who we will attract. And so all we have to do is fix and change ourselves. And then all of a sudden, people will be attracted to our companies. They will be attracted to us because we want to grow. And I joke about this, but I've always said to Sean, like, man, if I stop growing, just take me out back and shoot me, because get me out of the companies, because I shouldn't be there. Right. And so we have this philosophy of grow or go. And we really work hard with our salon owners through this whole process and sharing our failures. We're sharing the mistakes that we made of trying to fix and change our people. And we realize, wow, transformation begins in me. All I have to do is fix and change myself. And then all of a sudden, everyone starts to grow. This is so fun, Sean, going through this process, going through books that we have our salon leaders read, as well as leadership tools of assessments, of grading themselves, the 21 qualities of leadership and different assessments that we use. Is so much fun because we grow through it every time too, and thinking, wow, that's another blind spot that I need to work on, that I need to grow past so that I can grow my companies to the next level.
What I love, you just said there about transformation. And one of the biggest parts of transforming is, not only fixing your leadership, but working on that communication. Because sometimes, what's great about the DISC assessment, or what's great about these self-assessments like Tina was talking about, is how we like to communicate is not how others like to be communicated to. So we talk a lot about communication and what's not being said. We had a great victory today on our next level call with the salon owner that is able to finally have those tough conversations. She's built that safety. She's built that confidence to have those conversations, where it used to be her credibility, so to say, was behind the chair. She is over $100,000 behind the chair salon owner. However, when it comes to having those conversations and having that leadership and having that communication, it wasn't there. But over the course of the time taking this course with us, she's now able to have those conversations, not only confidently, but at the time that they're needed. She's very aware. We made her aware of what needs to be said instead of going, around the bush. She was very good at that. Like, she would, every one-on-one with us, this is the challenge. It was the same challenge. And over the course of time, the challenge got smaller because she was able to hold the level of accountability that was needed through communication and through strong coaching and accountability. And I just love the fact when we have stories like that, and we have so many great things that we've seen happen throughout this, the impact, that by one salon leader or salon owner taking this course, how it's impacted and shifted and changed a salon is just incredible.
Yeah. It's so interesting, Sean, because as we talk to salon owners and our own salon leaders and ourselves, communication is that one thing that we work at the least and we fail at the most, right? And so I think the bottom line is the mere fact that we just don't have a system for it. And you cannot have a system of, well, I have an open door policy. Are you kidding me right now? Like, you're too busy. People are going to see you as too busy and they don't want to bother you. So you have to really be intentional about creating a system. And it's so amazing to watch our salon leaders and the salon owners that we're coaching, to be able to hear them say, oh yes, I am finally meeting with them once a week. We call them the 7-minute target meetings that we usually try to, get them to be involved with, where they might be giving them feedback or getting feedback from them of what they need to improve. Like, what blind spots do I have as a leader, but going over their numbers, and then their monthly one-on-ones. And we give them really incredible tools of what they could potentially use. But the fun part about this, Sean, is working with every salon owner and helping them come up with their own tools that they want to create together with their teams to create a stronger communication strategy. And I think the bottom line here is the 3 points here. Have you built appropriate, solid relationships with everyone on your team? And the problem I had, Sean, many years ago was the fact that, I had level 3 of leadership done really well, which is productivity. I was very productive, which is very consistent with most salon owners. They know how to make money behind the chair. But the problem is they don't know how to multiply leaders. And so learning the leadership tools that we have, and learning the communication tools that we have, we can help people multiply leaders. And we're watching these salons not only grow their salons, but also start to scale their salons. And that's what gets excited about me. And we're in the trenches. We're building our fourth salon as we speak within 5 years. And so we know that we need to lead by example and show the process of what it's going to take to scale a business. And communication is key, right? And so do you have a strong culture of accountability? And every salon that we coach always says no. And so building really great tools and systems for consistency and follow-up of building safety with their team members, right? So they don't quit you, because, people don't quit companies, Sean, they quit people. And quite frankly, when they quit because of you, because of your poor leadership as you grow through the process. And so every time we lose a team member, Sean, we build and write a whole new system in our salons of what we need to do to get better as leaders and to get better at communication. So do you have a specific communication plan is always our question that we ask. And usually the answer is always no. And so that's what we go to work with, is fixing that communication.
Absolutely. And I just want to add in there for, those of you that are listening to this, is that yes, we are opening our fourth salon in under 5 years. And through our 5 strategies, I think the most important thing to understand is that all 3 of our salons, even through last year, are profitable. We have a few that are double-digit profitable. So this is proven. This isn't that, we're just getting by. Like we're absolutely on a successful path because of these 5 strategies. And I think a lot of that comes with, how we took last year. Unfortunately, there are a lot of salons that did not make it on the other side. And I think it comes down to how important it is to have the right attitude. And that's why we spend an entire month talking about fixing your attitude. What is that you get up, and where do you start your day? Are you ready to jump out of bed and get going? And, like we talked about in leadership, are you working on yourself in the morning? Do you have a growth plan for yourself? Are you investing in yourself? Are you arriving to work, early in that mood? Are you setting the tone for the day? Or are you on the other side waking up grumpy, and every single thing on the way leading up to you walking in the door has made you upset, so that you are in no way, shape, or form ready for your team, or ready for your clients, or just ready for anything? You're drained, and it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. So we talk a lot about attitude, and some of the things, like right here, you can't moan and lead at the same time. So are you moaning or leading? Like which one is that? And I know last year, unfortunately, a lot of people moaned. There was not the leadership that needed to step up. Now, in some places, yes, there was, but there was a lot of moaning. And unfortunately, I believe that that's why a lot of salons didn't come out on the other side, because there was that moaning, and they didn't have the 5 strategies of a business plan. They didn't have that profit first. They didn't have that cushion to, help get them through that. And, another question that we ask is, what are you willing to do to alter people's perception of your attitude? And what can we do to get started? Because, we have to own people's perceptions. So just because we want to be a happy, positive person does not mean that is what we are giving off. So what are we doing, to own that perception if it's not, and alter what we need to make sure that we're constantly giving off that positive perception? And this is, one of my favorite things. I talk about this on a regular, but what will you do to mentally prepare yourself to possess that positive workplace attitude as you drive into work tomorrow? I mean, I can speak from personal experience that there's a huge shift in your day. There's a huge shift in your mindset when you focus on listening to, those positive podcast where you're learning, you're growing, and you're developing yourself on your 20-minute drive-in, versus listening to a talk show in the morning. Completely different things. Yes, it is important to, stay informed if you listen to news radio. However, be very mindful of what you're putting in there, because as we talk about in the attitude, the news, like they say, what bleeds leads. So they're going to put the most negative stuff out there. And, it's really important to be mindful of what you're allowing into your day to set you up for your attitude.
So good, Sean. And, I love that you talked about last year, And, immediately I had to say to myself, which was something I prepared for many years before, and that was the statement, with crisis comes opportunity. So I said to myself, with this crisis, what opportunity do I have to reinvent ourselves? What can we do that we've never done before to get super excited about? And Sean, it really went back to, we've got to communicate more. And so every week we got on Zoom calls with our team and just did a check-in, like, how are you doing? Really, how are you doing on a scale of 1 to 10? And we got to really draw out a lot of the fear that was happening, and we got to encourage them and cheerlead them. But I think the whole thing was just knowing that we were available to them and we were safe, building that safety, right? And most salon owners that come to us, they're mad. They're mad at the world. They're mad at their people. They're mad that their company is failing. And I get it. I've been there. I know the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to run a business. And I understand mortgaging your home and knowing that, wow, I could file bankruptcy if this doesn't work. What do I do? And I'll tell you, we had to go into the mindset of the bottom line is, if it's to be, it's up to me, and everything rises and falls on leadership. And the problems I'm having in my company, it's my fault. And instead of looking at my people and pointing finger at them, I just had to say, you know what can I do to shift and change this? And Sean's right. It starts with your attitude, right? And I think it goes back full circle to pay yourself first, right? You're going to have a bad attitude if you're not getting paid in your own company. You're going to be frustrated. I've watched it firsthand. I saw it in myself, and I see it in the salon owners that we coach through the whole process. And so this is so fun because Sean and I just got the opportunity to go through an assessment with all of the salon leaders that we're coaching right now on attitude. And it was a real eye opener to really see that the changes and shifts that everybody seemed to need to make. And it really is about, just consistency in your own schedule. Sean always says, you hit the snooze button, when you wake up in the morning. I tell you, that can shift your attitude right there. Or are you just waiting to get up in the morning? And, I shared the story this morning that I didn't sleep all night. And I don't know, for whatever, but I decided a long time ago, I wouldn't get mad about not sleeping, but just use it as an opportunity to either pray for people or strategize something in my mind that I need to do for one of my companies or write my next book, right? But I woke up in the morning at 5 a.m. without having any sleep, got up and worked out, but I don't hit the snooze button because I know that is going to make me have a bad attitude. And so I'm just excited to get up in the morning and change people's lives. I know that helps me to live into integrity.
I love that. And changing people's lives goes into, hiring, because anytime they come on board, we have the ability to impact and change and alter that life for the better when we're hiring. But, do you have that written system? Do you have that system? What does your hiring process look like? And then after we hire the talent, what does that training look like? I think that goes back to that foundation. It's like a full circle. Everything just goes right back to each other. But what does that look like when we bring somebody on and they're new to our company? What does that look like? How do you host a hiring event? We talk about that. We talk about recruitment. We welcome people into our schools all the time. Please, salons, come, please come join us. We want, to make sure that there's a plethora of amazing future professionals to enter this industry.
Yes. And what we find, John, when we're coaching salons is this is usually fixed by the time we get to the 5th month with them on this portion of hiring. It's already fixed because they realize, oh my gosh, who I am is who I attract. So instead of, trying to put an ad out there to try to get people to come to you, right? You build a business where people are attracted to you. I always say, why does Starbucks and Chick-fil-A have long waiting lists of people wanting to work for them? Why don't we have those long waiting lists, right? And so I know when I don't have that long waiting list, I don't have people knocking down the door to work for me. I've got to go to work, Sean. I got to work on foundation. I've got to work on my leadership. I need to work on communication, right? Attitude, all those areas. Once I do that, then I know when people are waiting at the door that I've arrived to that point, right? So you never graduate from this. It's constantly going round and round and figuring out, what do I need to fix? And going back to, do you have a system in writing? Most of the salons that we coach have zero systems. They're just like, no, just give me somebody. And especially right now, I feel like there's just this lack of people in the industry, that the salons can hire. And it's so frustrating for them. But yet we are so blessed, Sean, to be able to have people that are attracted to our companies, because we don't hire employees. We hire future partners. And that's our mindset. We're thinking, wow, would I partner with them? And so we are very stringent, very slow at how we hire in our companies. And we share our strategies with all of our salon owners, and we help them build their own strategy that works for them. So they're constantly recruiting the next talent, but they're also attracting the next talent.
I love that. So that kind of, we just talked about the 5 strategies. We talked about, foundation and leadership, communication, attitude, and hiring. And, we encourage you to follow us on social media. Our Instagram, we're constantly posting business quotes, positive quotes, but we're also posting our weekly webinar series that we do with industry leaders and mentors, and we bring them on for an hour, and then we put it out to our podcast. But to see who's on our next lineup speaker, check us out at NL Salon Leadership on Instagram. And this is one thing that we wanted to share with you guys is Amanda Moncour's salon. Before she came to us, she was in the red. Yes, that is red, $49,754. Her first year, as you can see, profit with us, $42,000. Her second year with profit, closed for 2.5 months and did $46,000. So again, she is one of our many, many, many success stories. And if you're interested to join us on the Next Level Salon Leadership Mastermind, please jump on over to nextlevelsalonleadership.com, and you can click here for our 6-month courses, which will then take you to the very special page where you are currently receiving $1,000 off. Our next session does start August 3rd, 2021. We look forward to having you guys all join us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sean. Thanks everyone for joining us today.